Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey guys, it's Tori Townley. Welcome to the SERVEbrew. Are
Yep,
having an
ready.
awesome summer. It's so cool. We're having an awesome summer so far, getting ready for Serve Day 18. It's going to be incredible. We have 834 churches as of this morning registered already, which is more than double what we had last year. And just such a blessing. And really, honestly, it encourages me like crazy just to see how beautiful the church is right now and how I think God is really building the church of his dreams. And I get the grand honor of kind of having a little bit of a big picture and just see just the big spans of what God's doing across the globe, really. And I just want to honor you guys, whoever's watching. Thank you for having such a commitment and a passion to reach out to those who are lost and hurting. That's what our calling is on this earth. I believe if you love Jesus, then your calling is to reach out to people no matter what. So thank you. I honor you guys. And today I am so excited. We are kind of placing a spotlight on one of our heroes. You probably have heard about them if you're part of ARC at all. They're part of our lead team. It's Celebration Church in Jacksonville, Florida. Pastor Stovall Weems. And we love these guys. They are setting the pace and leading the way a lot for community outreach. And I have a new friend, Miss Lexie Goodman. She is the outreach director there for Celebration Church. And she's going to share with us just kind of like some of the big picture as well as the zoomed in kind of stuff of what they're doing. It's really incredible. So I'm going to jump over to her. Hey, Lexie, how are you today?
Good. How are you? Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for taking time. I know you're the pastor on call today, so if she can help you guys in the middle of this, it's because she's praying with people and ministering. So.
That's right. Yes. Keeping it moving.
That's awesome. I love it. So, Lexie, if you would just tell us a little bit about kind of your story personally, maybe a little bit of your testimony if you feel comfortable, kind of what got you to where you are at today.
Yeah, sure. So I've been on staff at Celebration for this is my 15th year on staff. And so it's very exciting, and I've got to do a lot of different things. And so one of the areas that was given to me this year to help oversee is our outreach team, and that involves a lot of different things. So we were blessed with being given a dream center, or a building really, in Northwest Jacksonville. And it's located in a zip code in Jacksonville that has the highest crime rate, the highest poverty rate. Basically, anything that is negative happens within the zip code, and it has the highest rates. So God just totally gifted us with this building, and we were able to open it as our Celebration Dream Center. So it's right next to Section 8 housing. It's literally in the epicenter of lots of drug activity. Just so many different things. And so our church has responded so beautifully to all of the needs out there. And God has just really directed our steps and shown us just how to meet tangible needs so that we can share the love of Jesus with people. So some of the things we do out there. So what we say is that our Dream Center is the hub for all of our outreaches. It's kind of where we focus most of our energy, although we do things throughout the rest of the city as well. We have a whole team, Dream Center team, that works at our Dream Center pretty much Monday through basically 6 to 7 days a week. And so we do stuff out there every single day. During the summer, which is happening now, is we have summer feeding programs. This is where kids who rely on public schools for their meals, and obviously they don't have that during the summer, they can come to the Dream Center and get meals. They can have playtime, and they just have leaders who love on them and who continuously share the love of Jesus with them. So that's one of the things that we do. We do Saturday morning kids club and Bible study. We have food pantry open throughout the week out there, where we have donations throughout the city that come in, and we're a hub for a lot of those donations. So that's what we've seen is people are willing to give if you give them an opportunity to give. And so the more opportunities you can give people to give or to serve, they will come if they know about the opportunity. And so really I'll finish by telling what we do at the Dream Center. So Saturday morning kids club, food pantries, we do block parties, we do holiday outreaches, Thanksgiving meal drives, Easter meal drive, Christmas gift outreaches, all of that kind of stuff, back to school. We want all of the kids who know our Dream Center and who come to our Dream Center to go back to school with a brand new backpack, brand new school supplies, all of that kind of stuff. And then for Easter, we did a new shoe drive. It was just incredible. We had 130 pairs of brand new shoes donated, and we had a big block party, and we gave them all out. And it was really, really awesome. And recently, when we took over the Dream Center, there was a basketball court there, and it was very, very, very run down. Like, all the concrete was broken, very old. So through lots of great connections and through Jesus just hooking us up, we just really got like an NBA legal size, basically a $60,000 basketball court, fully donated. And we had the grand opening last Saturday. And so what that has done now it has allowed us to reach an aspect and a demographic in that community, that like middle-aged male demographic, that we weren't able to reach before, because there was really no reason that they would come to the Dream Center, because there wasn't too much for them to do. And so we partnered with the Basketball Cop Foundation. They're a great organization, and they kind of led the whole thing. Our local sheriff's office, we have a company called Duval Asphalt in Jacksonville, and they donated all the asphalt. So it was really, really awesome. And so just lots of things. What we've seen is once you build it, they will come. And once there is a need, if you just let people know about it through constantly keeping the stories, the needs, and what's going on in our outreaches in front of the church, through sharing it on Sunday mornings, Wednesday services, social media, keeping it just in front of the church, it really keeps people engaged, and it shows people that what they're doing out there is making a difference. And so our goal is, in that community around our Dream Center, it's a very large fatherless community. Fathers are just not in the homes. They're not in kids' lives, all that kind of stuff. So our goal is to show kids that they have a father. They were created for a purpose, and they can do really great things with their life, no matter where they came from, no matter what's going on in their lives. And so it's really just to be the hands and feet of Jesus, make ourselves available, and let God do the rest, because his spirit and his power is what really does the work. And so that's a little bit about what we do out there. Yeah.
Wow. That is like a big old picture. Amazing. So full of energy. It's like you guys are just reaching so many dimensions of people's lives, and I think it's incredible. Mm-hmm. And I know it's fun. Like, I geek out so hardcore on anything like that outreach and Dream Center. So I know, like, I could just feel like the energy coming off of you. I love it. So with that, like, I would love to go deeper into some of the specifics of what you guys are doing. Like, you gave a great picture, and I'd love to learn more about that. But first, like, could you tell us a little bit about how you guys kind of got to such a level that you're at? So obviously you didn't start off like being able to have such a grand scale approach to everything. So kind of like, what were the building blocks and the first steps that you guys took to get to this place that you're at?
Yeah, that's a great question. So because I was able to be part of Celebration really in its foundational years, I know that the vision of Pastor Stovall and Carrie was always Jesus and people, because you can't have one without the other, right? You can't love God and not love and serve people. And so Pastor Stovall's vision is, he has always been very outward focused. Outreach it's just always been a thing. Even from my early teenage days, which is a little bit of time ago, I can just remember going to an outreach is what you did if you were a part of Celebration Church. We've always been really good at showing people what the needs are. And it is also about going out into the community, meeting with local organizations who already have, like we have in Jacksonville, City Rescue Mission, that kind of thing. So being intentional about just letting them know, hey, we see what you guys are doing. We would love to help you, even if we send an outreach team to you twice a year. And every single time we've done that, the response is so overwhelming. We have a kind of like a modern day orphanage here in Jacksonville called Daniel Kids. And it's like a big foster house, basically. And they always have needs. They have kids coming in all the time. They need school supplies and clothes and diapers and all that kind of stuff. Or just need somebody to come out on a Saturday morning and hang out with kids and play basketball and just let them know that we love you and God loves you too. So outreach is just very intertwined into the fabric of Celebration Church from the very, very onset. And Pastor Stovall's vision has always been that he wants Celebration to be a reflection of heaven in the way that it reaches people from all walks of life. And it truly is. If you come into one of our services on any weekend or any Wednesday, and you just peer out into the congregation, you do not just see one demographic. You do not just see one skin color. It is truly like, it is such a melting pot. And that really goes back to the vision that God gave our lead pastors and their ability to really fulfill that vision and to work towards that vision and to be obedient to that vision. And so that's where a lot of our heart for outreach comes, is because there's not one demographic that we just want to reach. We want to focus on humanity as a whole, if that makes sense.
Man, that's so good and so valuable. A lot of people, you know, maybe have that desire to reach out and have a church that reflects heaven, but sometimes it's hard and you don't know where. So I love that starting with the heart of the pastor is huge. And I so believe that because that's the one who's leading the charge. That's who God called to do it. And so if they're not buying into it and they're not speaking, it's not genuine out of their heart, then it's not going to really trickle down into the rest of the family. So I love that. I know that's Pastor Stovall's heart, it's Pastor Dino's heart, and you're just, you know, so thankful for pastors who are able to lead like that and have that compassion. So
yeah.
So cool. And I love the idea of not reinventing the wheel. That's definitely a really cool thing, and just being able to partner. And really, I think that's part of learning how to serve the community. If you're a newer church and you don't really know where to start or even have resources, doing for those who are doing it is really smart and strengthening the community in general. So what about, like, if people, so now I love what you guys are doing. If people in the church kind of have some creative ideas, they're like, oh, okay, I was part of this, and that sparked something in my heart, and I want to go out and maybe try something a little bit different, a little spin-off. How do you guys empower those kinds of ideas? Is there anything in place for that?
Yeah. I think one thing, just a point of advice, is to say, don't ever be afraid to try. The worst somebody can tell you is no, we're not interested, which I'm not sure if we've ever been turned away from offering to help people. And so just don't be afraid to try. I think consistency, like, so say you partner with a brand new organization in your city. Yes, it's great. One big survey a year, make a very big impact, but also like just committing maybe on a smaller level. How can we support this organization throughout the rest of the year? And I will tell you this, we have found such favor with the city of Jacksonville, with public schools, with the mayor's office, all of that kind of stuff, because Pastor Stovall's vision is he wants Celebration Church to be the church that the city knows to go to when there is a need. And so that really does require us to continuously be looking for new opportunities. So like for Serve Day and Summer of Serving, we really wanted to make a difference in public schools, especially the low income public schools where most of the kids are on free lunch and they're just in the higher crime neighborhoods. So going into those schools, we do teacher appreciation breakfast sometimes. We go in and paint the schools, pressure wash, remulch, all that kind of stuff that the county might not be able to do or have the budget to do. We just go and let the principal know we're here. We don't have an agenda except to serve you. And so I think that's another really important aspect of it is never going in with an agenda to make yourself look better or to make yourself grow bigger, but always going in with a pure heart, knowing I really just want to be the hands and feet of Jesus and let you know that we're here to serve you. And even we might not get anything out of it, and that's okay, because we are just here to be the hands and feet of Jesus. And it's through tangible acts like that people really, they just question, why are you doing this for no reason? Why are you doing this without getting paid? Why are you doing this when there's nothing in return? And it's just simply because we love you and because we just want to serve you. So I think that just always sets you apart from people who have a different agenda, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I love it. It's amazing. Beautiful and great wisdom there. So, okay, you mentioned the Summer of Serve and Serve Day. I know in the past I have seen pictures of this giant sea of blue angels going out and serving. I'm like, wow, they are like, this is amazing. It's so beautiful. So tell us a little bit about, and I think you said this is one of the first years you guys have expanded to do the whole Summer of Serve, kind of marketed that way. Yeah. So tell us like how that idea came about and really what what it looks like, how it breaks down. I think there's several churches who are probably looking at that and how to extend it some.
Yeah.
From just the July 14th thing. And really our heart is to make it a culture of serve day every day, of course.
Yes.
I love the idea of making it the whole summer. I think that's incredible. So just tell us a little bit about what that's looking like. It sounds awesome.
So this is an idea. We've just been resetting some things in the season. We're in a really amazing season as a church. It's just our banner year. It's just been a really great year of spiritual growth and just what God is downloading to our senior pastors and everything like that. So what we did was we looked at the whole calendar for the whole year, and we thought, what have we always been doing that we kind of need to look at and expand or do differently in this season? And so Serve Day was one of those things, and we know that we definitely wanted to keep doing that, but how can we do it at a different level? And so it just goes back to what you just said, is we just want to have a serving culture, and we want people to know that if you are here at Celebration, Pastor Stovall said this so great. He said, you serve in church and during services because this is your church home, just like you would serve in your own home. If you had a big family dinner, everybody plays a part. There's people who cook, there's people who clean, there's people who set up, there's people who bring things, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of serving internally, is taking care of your own house because this is where you're planted. And then serving externally is going beyond the church walls and being able to take that love and that hope and that message of the gospel out into our communities. And so we came up with Summer of Serving, and still focusing on that big Serve Day, but we started a few Saturdays ago in early June, and just making opportunities more available and more visible for people to not just feel like, oh, I served on Serve Day and I'm done serving, but making it to where we added more partnerships, we added more opportunities, and just giving them more opportunities to serve throughout the summer. And then also, if somebody happens to be out of town on the big Serve Day or not available or whatever, they can feel like, okay, there's lots of other opportunities for me to serve. And then if they come on Serve Day and they really love it, they can literally jump in the next week and just keep going. So that was our goal with kind of expanding that. Yep.
I love that idea so much, especially like the value of summer, like families, especially with their kids who are out of school. They're just looking for something to do together. And I think that's so cool for strengthening families and the community and just building the culture. So love it, love it. What would you say, it can be from Summer of Serve, or it could be just something you guys do year round. What would you say is like your personal top 3 favorite outreaches or serve experiences you guys do? I love this stuff.
It's hard to choose. I would say for me personally, it's always anything to do with kids. So opening the basketball court at the Dream Center, it was just such a beautiful picture of so many different organizations coming together, because we couldn't have done that on our own. It would have been years of fundraising. And then the organizations needed us to be able to give to. So that was opening the basketball court. Just it's become the epicenter for hanging out now. And it's going to give kids an opportunity to be able to have fun things to do that's going to keep them out of trouble and keep them off the streets, especially when school's not in session. So I would say that's one of my top favorite for sure. I would say the backpack and the school supply drive, just knowing how particular I am about my daughter going to school with new school supplies and stuff, because I want her to feel good about herself, and I want her to feel like she's confident going in with new things, And so I think that really helps kids to feel like they're going back to school with confidence, and that makes me really, really happy. And then I think, Christmas outreaches, that's always like just knowing what you can do for your own child, and how they have so much, and knowing that just right across town, there could be kids waking up on Christmas, maybe with parents not even in their home, but definitely possibly getting nothing, not having Christmas trees or anything. So what we do is we adopt families, and our church gets together. Some small groups adopt a whole family, that serving teams adopt a whole family. And we literally take Christmas trees, decorations, everything. And we get like wish lists beforehand. And so their whole entire apartments or homes get decorated. They get Christmas presents, they get a Christmas meal. So I would say that definitely those are probably my top 3.
Oh my gosh, I have chills on the Christmas tree thing. That is so special. How cool. Do you guys partner with like a Christmas tree farm, or how do people do that? Or is it just the small group finds their tree?
Yeah. So what we do is, on the list that we get. So if you adopt a family, you get kind of their wish list. And if they don't have any Christmas decorations, they would put that down. And usually people get like a smaller artificial tree and lights and ornaments so that they can have it for the next year. Yep.
Okay, cool. I love that idea so much. It's like I'm so all about gotta have everything decorated. My husband's like, oh,
Yes.
but
Yes.
it's so important.
Start decorating the day after Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, if not before. I've
No.
experienced it, and Christmas starts in November, and it's not good. But
Yeah.
I love that idea so much. I'm gonna have to share that one out if you don't mind.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Any way that we can help, for sure.
Okay, so I had a question. You mentioned earlier the Dream Center was given to you guys. So I would love to know a little bit more about that story, like how that happened. And then you mentioned that you guys use it as a hub. So I love that concept. That's kind of how we do it in Birmingham as well. It's kind of just like a launch pad. People come meet there and go out. There's not a lot too much going on inside that building. But some places are different, which is cool too. That's a residential program or whatever going on. But for you guys, it's a hub. So is that the central like outreach that the whole church looks to as like that is our outreach spot? And then as far as like, is that where all the volunteers meet for serving, or what does the structure look like? And how
yeah, those are great questions. So basically it was called something else before it was given to us. And the person who owned it, I don't really know all the details as to why he didn't have it anymore. I think maybe he was just kind of ready to do something different. I think he was a little bit of an older man, so he could have been ready to kind of retire and do something else. So it was called like a Kids Connection type place. And then found out that we had an interest in it. And then here we have the Dream Center, and we had been praying about the Dream Center. So it's really awesome. And so when I say it's the hub, it's the outreach hub for Celebration, what that really means is when we are planning big serve weeks or summer serving or serve days or anything like that, what's around the Dream Center really gets the most of our energy, the most of our planning, and the most of our resources. Now we do have a lot of other partnerships throughout the city with like I was mentioning, like school boards and homeless shelters and kids, like children's homes, all that kind of stuff. And then because we have different locations throughout Jacksonville and throughout Florida and in different places in the world, any location is empowered to look around their specific area and think, what can I do with this congregation to partner with local organizations? And so, for example, I go to a location that is outside of the city limits, is kind of in the suburbs. And so it's very far away from the Dream Center. It's like probably a good 50 minute drive from the Dream Center. So we don't always want to send that congregation and campus to the Dream Center for outreaches, but that location is really great. If you say we have a need for the Dream Center, we are doing Thanksgiving meals, they're really great at bringing in donations. Really, really awesome. And so it's always good to let them know they can go serve, but giving them other opportunities to participate that maybe don't require them to drive out there all of the time. And then also finding some other local things. Like there's a battered women's shelter that's not too far from where my family and I go to the Celebration campus. So that would be a great Christmas opportunity. Or, maybe they need blankets and we do a blanket drive or something like that. So I think it's identifying, having your hub, but then identifying the needs within all the areas that you're kind of planted throughout cities and regions and areas and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, making sure that there's different expressions going on, just to reflect every community, because like there's hurting people in every single aspect of life, whether they're in poverty or if they're not. There's always something different expressions for sure. But I think I'm with you on, I don't know, I'm just seeing it like, it's almost like sometimes churches have dream centers and it's kind of like their treasure. Like everyone just treasures and cherishes that.
Absolutely.
Special place in our heart. And I love that you put emphasis on inviting people into these opportunities. Sometimes I think there might be hesitation from pastors and leaders who feel like they're kind of they don't want to put the guilt on anybody, like, hey, we really need you to give to this cause. But just remembering how important it is, like people desire to make a difference, and that's how they're fulfilled and that's how they come alive. So I love are so intentional to put the story and the needs in front of people so they can be part of it. Like that's what the church is.
Yes.
So cool there that you guys do
Yeah.
that. What is something that you would say you are personally like looking forward to, or maybe like a fresh dream that's on your heart? And some people are like, well, I'm holding that under wraps until it comes out. But if you have anything you
No,
want to share that
I could tell you right off the top of my head.
awesome, let us know so we can be praying.
So this is definitely a pipe dream. But we've been working with some people, and I feel like it's just, I don't know. I believe it's going to come together. So what I found out was around our dream center. Okay, so it started back in Easter when we did our new shoe drive, and I was helping kids try on new shoes to try to help them get the best size and all that kind of stuff. And what I realized was we should have made this a new sock drive plus a new shoe drive, because so many of their socks were so dirty, and I hated to even put their brand new shoes on them because their socks were so gross. And then and so our outreach team said, yeah, a lot of times accessing basic washer and dryers is a very it's hard. It's really hard out in that community. And so I was like, man, I really want a washer and dryer outreach. I want a laundromat, a dream center laundromat. So and then I found out another layer to that is a lot of kids, because they don't have clean clothes, and when I say they're not clean, it's like weeks of wearing them. They are embarrassed to go to school as they get a little bit older because they can smell bad. Kids can make fun of them, all that. They just don't have confidence, obviously, if you don't feel good about yourself. So I felt like, what a simple solution of being able to wash an outfit so a kid can continue to go to school and learn and not have absences and miss work and all that kind of stuff. So if it comes down to clean clothes, that's such an easy, tangible need to meet. And so we found one of our men's ministry pastor, Josh Sear, he's been working with some people, and he found like this company, I think they're out in Texas, and they take like an 18-wheeler and they make a washer and dryer, like a portable laundromat out of it. So they have like 18 stackable washer and dryers in it, and they have like a built-in hot water heater. So like these things existed that we wouldn't even ever know they existed until we started researching it. So we're just praying through that. So that would be like big dream.
That's so cool. I love it. Like a celebration tide truck.
Yes, absolutely.
I can attest to that. Like I've seen it working at the Birmingham Dream Center. People, there's a dignity change when they have clean clothes.
Yes, and it's so simple. Like it's stuff we complain about. Like I'm complaining on Fridays, I do all the laundry, and it makes you realize like I don't need to complain about doing laundry anymore. So yeah. It's good.
Yes, that is such a cool idea. And so if you're watching, we're going to pray with
yes.
that dream comes true. I so am a believer in that big time. Anything you can do to just show people that they're treasured, that they're worthy,
yes.
and dress them like
yes.
that.
Like you are important enough to have a clean outfit, and we want to help you have that,
I love it so much. And really, I've seen so many success stories on laundromats in general, because while people are waiting for their clothes to get done, you're building relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And
yep.
It's a great opportunity. So simple and practical.
Yep.
Love that. Oh my gosh. Cool. So what would be a word of wisdom, maybe something that you have treasured coming up through this outreach thing, this whole journey, that maybe you would give to someone who's kind of in the beginning process of building outreach, whether they're starting a dream center or they're just kind of starting from scratch, their church maybe just launched and they just don't even know where to start?
Yeah.
Anything that you would want these guys to know as they're dreaming and praying through
yeah. Absolutely. So really, I feel like I have a twofold answer to that. First is make sure that outreach and serving outside of your church walls is always a part of your culture. It's just what you do, because really Jesus came to serve and not to be served. And so Jesus was very intentional about going to seek out the people who needed hope, who needed salvation, who needed healing, who needed all those things. And so it's all about intentionality. They're not going to come to you. Let's just say that. Some of them might, but for the most part, it's just being intentional and just in recognizing the needs. The second part of that answer, I would say, is realizing that no matter what you are doing, even if you feel like you're starting so small, and you maybe you established this outreach and you're doing it once a month and you did it for 12 months and you feel like, I'm not sure if that was effective. I would say, of course, it's always good to gauge your effectiveness and make sure you're making the biggest impact that you can, but never underestimate the power and the impact and the eternal impact of the small things and the small beginnings. And because if you would have told us, we're going to be 20 years old in August. So if you would have told us 20 years ago that we would be having a dream center and we would be the go-to church for the city of Jacksonville, that would have seemed so incredibly overwhelming and unattainable. But it was such small little starts, and just being intentional about planning outreaches, making it part of your culture, keeping outreach stories in front of your church, keeping serving opportunities in front of your congregation, all that kind of stuff, because it just shows them like the importance of it. And when people see opportunities, they're very likely to take it, especially if they understand why we're doing this. So I would say ingrain it in your culture, just make it part of who you are, and don't underestimate small beginnings. Yep, and keep going from there.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That's great wisdom. And I completely would amen everything that you said. I'm all about, I'm sorry, that was loud. I'm all about little moments building up into big ones. Like I said, I get this big picture vision of what Serve Day looks like globally, but when I get to zone in on those one moments and just see like the small steps that are being taken, like those collective steps are what make such a beautiful picture. So I completely back you up on that.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for like taking time to share with us. Like I know you were so busy, and obviously running Summer Serve in a Dream Center and being the pastoral care person on call today. Like thank you. If anyone who was watching today has like maybe some follow-up questions, or they want to learn more about what you guys are doing, what would be the best way for them to get in touch with you or your team?
Yeah. So they can just feel free to shoot me an email. My name's Lexie Goodman. So my email is just Goodman. It's Goodman @celebration.org. And I'm in my email pretty much all day, every day. So I will be able to respond pretty quickly.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you for being so accessible. Not everybody loves to share their personal info, so that's cool. You guys blow it up on her. I'm just kidding. That's awesome. Cool. Well, Miss Lexie, would you mind closing us out in prayer? Maybe just praying for anybody who's watching and kind of what they're dreaming about.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, sure. Dear God, we just thank you that you have saved us by good works for good works. And we are saved, God, so that we can in turn go out and do good works on your behalf and in your name, Jesus. And we thank you, God, that you would just help us to know what opportunities you are calling us to, not just the good opportunities, but the God opportunities. And that you would help us to see the needs within our cities and within our areas, God, that nobody else sees. And that through meeting those needs, you would help us to just show people how much you love them, how much we love them, and that they would just receive salvation, that they would receive wholeness, that they would receive, Jesus, only what you can give them. And thank you that everybody who's watching this, who's involved in outreach in some way, shape, or form in their churches, God, that you would just help us all to just understand what it means to steward well the influence and the impact that you will give us, God. And we just thank you for wisdom and for guidance. And in your name we pray, God. Amen.
Amen. Awesome. Thank you so much, Lexie. That was beautiful. Thanks, everybody, for jumping on today. We will see you next time on the SERVEbrew. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.